thanks for stopping by my channel. So today's video is going to be what I hope will be a continuing series, a many-part series where we tackle coloring a specific skin tone and a specific undertone. I did a poll over on my community tab asking what color skin you'd like to try first. There's only 4 options I could put for a poll, and there's many different shades of skin. So the choices I had to pick from, I put up fair, medium, tan, and deep. Now, we all see colors differently. We all maybe have different names for different colors. I'm using more or less foundation colors for makeup. That is how I approach picking my colors. A lot of times I will look to concealer, foundation charts. That is usually my #1 recommendation when you're trying to figure out what colors to use. That's like an excellent resource, I think, to picking out colors for your portraits. Maybe a little bit over 50 people responded to my poll, and it was actually between the 4, it was pretty evenly split. The medium skin tone came out a little bit ahead, and I do kind of shy away from calling what I do tutorials, but this is just going to be basically how I personally approach it. This is just what works for me. So I'm going to show you what I kind of think of before my thought process. Actually, I really don't have a thought process. I think I've mentioned this before. I usually just like grab colors and pick colors. But I kind of wanted to be a little bit more mindful of what I'm actually doing. So after the medium poll, I did another poll where I asked if you wanted to do a cool undertone, which like a cool pink undertone, neutral undertone, which would be a kind of more like a yellowish beige kind of undertone, or a warm undertone. So the warm undertone won out. And this is what I kind of ended up with working out. You can see here I did like a whole bunch of different little spot tests. I printed this page out from Lana Green. I like to use this as kind of a test sheet to get an idea of what colors to pick. And I'm using my Black Widows. I think I'm going to be using these probably for the whole series of these videos. Was thinking about using Prismacolors, but then I often hear a lot of people lately complaining that everybody just uses Prismacolors all the time. I know people in like the UK have a hard time getting them. So I picked Black Widows because they are one of my favorites to use, and they have so many different colors. There's 180 colors, and they have some nice, interesting, unique colors. And they'll have very close shades to one another. So I like that when you're doing kind of a transitional from one color to another. So I was actually surprised that medium won the poll. I was really expecting deep to win. Kind of feel like there are a lot of tutorials out there doing a medium or a light medium skin tone, but this is what you guys picked. So I want to give the people what they want, and maybe the next video, I had already even started picking out some colors for like a cool toned, deep, dark skin tone. I was testing some out, so maybe we'll see how this video does, and we'll do the next video a darker tone. I was trying to not to pick out so many colors just to make it a little bit more simple, but you know, I couldn't. I ended up picking out about 5 different colors, and these 2 for like the blush and the lip color probably. This is all the colors that I picked, swatched out. I think this is leaning a little bit more towards like medium tan skin tone, maybe. Yeah, so you can use this for a variety of different ethnicities. I think I don't want to, when I do these videos, I'm not going to use ethnic terms to describe any of these shades. I'm just going to be basically using makeup terms. There's a lot of different color names to describe a medium tone. Like sometimes it's called sand, sometimes it's called honey, and like I said, we all do see colors differently. Just want to put that out there because there's multiple shade ranges within every ethnicity. I also recommend getting a color wheel. That's very helpful, especially if you're new to like color theory. I know that can also be a little bit intimidating. I got this from Amazon. I think it was $4. I'll put the link in the description for this one. This does tell you all the cool colors are on one side, the warm colors are all on the other side, kind of just divide it down, basically down the middle. This image I'm using is from Anastasia Koldareva's, I think it's from Mysteria. I think that's where I pulled it from. And if you don't have any of her books, I believe she has made available some of her books. I don't know if it's all of them, but I know she had mentioned that she has PDF versions of some of her books now. So I will put that information down below in case you're interested. This paper, I forget what the paper is called, but I know it's an A4 and I got it from Amazon. I'll link that down below for you guys too. Everything I'm using, I'll try and put a link to it in the description box. What I do first, usually, sometimes I will go in and put the shadows in first, but for this one, I think I'm gonna start off with the base, and that's the lightest color. This is Monarch Cream. This is MN071. This is the lightest color we're using, if you don't count the white and the burnisher blender. And where's my stick? And basically, this is the easiest part. We're just doing a fairly light layer, laying down a nice, even layer on the whole surface of the face. Kind of consider this the primer, thinking in terms of makeup a little bit, getting the face ready for the other colors. Now, I'm not going to be doing too much talking. In fact, I think we're probably going to be doing a lot of time lapsing, but I will really try my best not to skip any steps here. I'm going to try and do step by step what's going on and what's happening each step of the way. I'm just doing very on the side. You'll see here, it's starting to wear off on that one side. If you want to just kind of turn it a little bit as you go so you don't wear off the whole one side. I like to do short, even strokes, or you can even do, if you're so inclined to do like little swirls, I like to do a little bit of a combination of both sometimes, but when I'm just starting out on the first layer, I like to do these little short strokes. You have to be very patient. This is not a really quick process. Okay, so I've put down just the one single layer, base layer of the cream. Next up, we have this color. It's called Murk, and it's from the Skin Tone set, and it's SL017. Pretty much all it is now is each layer we add, we're going to be almost outlining the edges of her face. This is one of the lighter colors, so we're going to go in pretty far into her face, and we're going to be leaving empty or leaving out the spaces where you would want a highlight. If you're unsure of where to put a highlight on the face, there's lots of model photos you can take a look at. I'll pop some up, but you'll usually see the highlight when there's like a photograph, somebody's taking your photograph. It's usually around here, the forehead, maybe like the bridge of your nose, a little bit on the chin, the high points of your cheeks, I think are good ones, and the shadows would be in where, like, the corners of your eyes, the edge of where your face meets your hairline, where your hair starts. If you have some hair over your eyes, the hair over the eyes, that's also where a shadow would form. So that's kind of how I think of it, what I think of when I'm trying to work out where to put the highlights or leave out the highlights. So I have like a cheek over here. Maybe you would want to go in a little bit, kind of create a little bit of a rounded cheek contour over here. Start off the inklings of shadows for when we pick up our darker colors. See, I'm still very much working very, very light layers. Is it necessary to do such light layers? Maybe not, but I just like to be on the cautious side, and I don't want to go too dark in case I make a mistake. So we're kind of starting to shade out where her nose and her cheek meet a bit here. The tip of her nose, the corners of her nose. You don't really want to do, you have to be careful with the nose, because sometimes you might want to try to make like a harsh line over here, but you really just want to try and build up the shadow more so than do any kind of harsh lines. Over here, this is another cheek. Might want to try and start building up her little cheek muscles. Over here, shadow, there would be kind of a shadow a bit under the fatty part of the cheek. Maybe we're thinking the light's kind of going this way a little bit, so we would leave this spot as a highlight too. So next color, next layer is going to be this color called Rust, and this is also from the light skin tone set, and it's SL003. So again, we're just doing the same, pretty much the same thing we just did with the previous color. We're just not going to go into the center as much as the previous color. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in with this next layer. I'm gonna do cream again to kind of continue to blend the colors that we already put down together. This time I'm not gonna go all the way in with this cream. We're gonna try to maintain our highlighted spots. So I'm gonna keep blending the edges and the colors together. You can see now I'm kind of doing more of the circular motions. I feel like that works when you have multiple layers down on the paper to kind of help blend them together. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it makes me feel like something's happening, like I'm mixing, like they're mixing together a little bit better. I like to use the lightest color I'm using more so as the blender when I'm doing skin, just so if I use a white, it'll kind of make it look a little bit too chalky looking, especially at this point of the coloring. Once we get more of our layers in, and I want to hit the highlights a little bit better and like add a little bit more shine, then I would probably go in heavy in those spots. Now you might be thinking, oh, she looks very orange, Crystal. She looks a little bit Snooky from the Jersey Shore. We're gonna try and tone her down a little bit with the next colors, and if I think she still looks a little more on the orange side, maybe we'll throw some blue to cool her down a little bit. She might be too warm. We are doing a warm skin tone, but we do want to have a little bit of balance to her too at the same time. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a correction color on her next instead of the color that I planned, which is actually kind of a little bit of a happy accident, because that is a really great use now of our color wheel. If you find that maybe you think you have too much of one color and you want to tone it down a little bit, find that color. We'll say this is like a yellow orange, and then you're going to find the complementary color, which is just the opposite color on the wheel. So the opposite of this yellow orange would be blue violet. So I picked out this color. I think it's a pretty good match. So let's see if it works out. This is Picasso Sky, and it's DG150. Very light, very lightly, mostly in the, I think, the shaded areas I'm gonna do it. I probably would have been a better idea to add this before the rust color, but oh well. Now I'm gonna do this Stink Bug BW01. This is from the original Black Widow set. And this is kind of also like a brownish orange color, so I think it should work well with the Picasso Sky, hopefully. This is a little bit more of a golden color. This is where we're going to start picking up more so of the warm skin tone we're going for, I think. So I think I'm gonna go in with Murk. That was the second to the lightest color we used. This is kind of more of a beige, I think. So blend everything together a little bit more. Gonna do cream, another layer of cream. Really like, Crystal, this is a lot of layers. Yep. I like to layer. All right, so next layer is going to be Rusty. This is from the Monarch set, and this is MN122. I might have to do some swinging around on this one because I really want to make sure I don't mess it up. All right, we're going back in with Stink Bug. Again, another layer of Murk. You can tell I'm doing a little bit heavier handed with my layers. Guys, I was recording, well, I thought I was recording, and apparently I wasn't recording, so I did miss a little bit of the process here. I was going in, doing her blush, and I am using this Dragon Lady Jane DG154. This is a really pretty pink color, and I don't even remember what I was talking about. I think it's a sign to call it a day on this page for me and finish up tomorrow. This is actually my favorite part of coloring portraits. I always really like how everything comes together once you get to the blush, even though I do get a little bit nervous that I either might add too much or it's not even enough. You see how her face, it kind of is not straightforward when it's kind of tilted to the side a little bit. It is a little bit harder for me to make sure it's even on both sides. So I'm going back over and blending it out a little bit more with the cream color. Hopefully I don't overwork this paper because I still have I still have some more layers I intend to add after this. I know I said I didn't really want to do too many colors to complicate things, but it didn't work out that way. So I've been working on this page all day, and I really wanted to finish it, but add a little pink to her chin area, maybe a little to her nose. I think I did put a little on her nose already, and a little bit on her temples. A nice layer on her lips. Okay, so then I want to do this Sherbert as well. Maybe, should I do it? Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I think we are running into a wall here on the layers pretty soon. But keep trying. Okay, so next up, I'm going to be adding this color from the Dragon set. It's called Dungeon, and it's DG145. And I just feel like she needs a little bit more shading around her hairline and her chin, her neck area. So I couldn't find my Prismacolor white pencil that I had on my desk. It must have rolled off, or my cat must have stolen it. But this is just, I think this is from my Brute Phoner 520 set. It just happened to be on my desk, so we're going to take use of this one and just hit the highlighted areas. make them pop a little bit. Her lip. I think that was a mistake to put that darker shade in the corner over here, because now it kind of looks like she has a green spot over here. But, oh well. I don't know if you can see this part on screen, but it looks a little bit like I tried to put a shade where this little wispy piece of her hair is, and it doesn't look so cute. So I'm gonna try and erase it and just put some Murk in there. This is the point where you guys just kind of do your finishing touches, see what you like, what you don't like. There, I think we kind of blended that little green spot away. I still have this color out that I was planning on using, the Boodshot. It's DG 134. I think I just want to hit her cheeks a little bit on her cheekbones. Maybe her eyes, her brow bone. We'll make her makeup go up to her eyes. How about that? What other colors were I using? The Lady Jane. Because her eyes look a little bit bare, I feel like. Put in her eye. I'm going to add this color Choctone to her, under her eyes. We're going to give her some eyeliner because this is kind of a weird, I feel like it's a little bit odd over here. And this is Midnight SD 024. Okay guys, so I think we're gonna have to call this one done. I am running out of room on my phone. I think we ran out of tooth on the paper, and the only thing I wasn't able to really film with you guys was her eyebrows. I filled in her eyebrows with Choctone, the Choctone color. I think that's from the dark skin tone set, and I added Boodshot from the dragon set to her lips, and I just did a quick pass of alcohol marker for her hair, the flower, and that little creepy bug in the corner. So I think she came out pretty close to what I had been going for, a medium warm skin tone. So I really do hope this video was helpful. If you found anything that you can apply to your coloring projects, if you'd like me to continue the series where we tackle a specific skin tone, a specific undertone, I really would like to focus on some that are not as well represented out there. If you have any suggestions for me, I'd love to hear them. Leave me a comment down below. And I do hope you all have a really great rest of your day. Happy coloring, and I'll see you next time.